Okay, I just woke up, first day here, and it looks like the view outside is going to be really cool. I haven't seen it yet, but let's see. Let's see. Wow. It's too bright. Good morning, Kigali. Maramutse. That's how I say good morning. Okay, so end of my first full day in Rwanda. Didn't do that much today, but I just wanted to record some of my first impressions. Um, so, this is something that I noticed, before I even landed, and this is something which I think most African countries I've been in, then like I've had some type of experience like this where you can already start telling stuff about what kind of country it is, kind of where the country is at by looking out the window before you land. When you're flying over the country, you can tell, well, I guess so if you're flying over the country at night, then how lit up the country is tells you a lot about kind of where the country is at. So, for example, like the first country I went to in Africa ever was Kenya. I was landing at night, and I remember looking out, and we were landing in Nairobi. Nairobi is a very populous city. It's like it's millions of people, and I was looking out, and like the amount of lights that there were was there were lights, but it was very sparse, and it was sparse enough that like the impression I had was like it was like flying, it was like descending into the night sky, like it was like stars. So like that's kind of how spread out stuff was, even though very populous place. They're just that's the stage of development that they're at. Another example, Namibia, when I was landing in Windhoek, then you I didn't realize that we were at the airport until suddenly we were landing. Suddenly I looked out and I see a road underneath us because when you look out the window there, you're flying at night, you don't see anything. It's completely dark. There are no lights anywhere, and part of that is because the airport is about 20 minutes from the from the city. Like it's 20 minutes from the city center, or maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe it's like 30 minutes, or maybe a little bit more. But the point is like they're not even, you don't see streetlights, you don't see like, maybe you'll see like a car go by. You don't see anything, and that's it. And so it's probably because it pours outside the city, but partly it's because the it's a country with very few people. It's a country with I think the whole country has a little over 2 million people. It's a gigantic country. So with Rwanda, and this is also similar. I had a layover once in Ghana and in Accra, and Accra was very lit up. Kigali very lit up at night, and I know that Rwanda is very prosperous right now. It's people are calling it the Singapore of Africa. It's doing really really well economically. So when we're flying overhead, like it looked like a city. It looked like there's a lot of lights, a lot of action going on. It just looked very developed from that. And that was, if we want to talk about like my very very first impression, like that was the first impression. And then driving to my hotel, getting taken to my hotel at night, then and I'd heard about this. It's Rwanda is a nice country. Like it's the we're talking like landscaped like sides of roads, like where people are walking. There's been grass planted. There's trees spaced out. The types of businesses and stuff like that. It's like there's some places that look like like seriously like classy places you'd find like in any country, any first world country. And like there are areas of that we drove through that were less developed, and like walking around, like there are definitely areas that are you'll see houses and you'll see buildings that that look kind of crumbly and not so nice and whatever. But like it's like I remember the feeling in Kenya was like you can feel the developing country, the developingness of it. You can really feel it that the country is like taking off, and like here it's like they've settled into that pace of development. So like there's that going for it, and then there's also just the fact that like this has got to be the safest country in Africa. I was talking to the Chabad rabbi here. That's basically the main thing I did today after I changed hotels, after the first day quarantine. Then I walked to the Chabad, and there are places, like you talk about like South Africa. South Africa, they tell you if you're gonna walk like 3 minutes somewhere in Johannesburg, they say take an Uber. Like it's too dangerous to to walk a few blocks. Or like at the very least, in a place like Kenya or something like that, then if you're walking around and you're carrying your cell phone, it's probably going to get stolen. If you have things in your pocket, you gotta basically give them up. If you have things in your pocket, then they're probably going to get pickpocketed. And like even in countries like when I was in Ethiopia, like Ethiopia is you're not going to encounter violent crime, like random violent crime. But I had a attempt on these kids got on either side of me, and one of them grabbed my hand, and the other one was getting in my pockets and stuff like that, and I didn't have anything in my pockets. But like in most countries, most countries in the world, even probably you can't just walk around with stuff in your pockets. And here, like the word I've gotten from people here is like you're probably fine. Like if you're in the marketplace, then like you should probably be sensible. But like if you're walking on the street, there's just so many police here. It's like the way the Chabad rabbi explained it to me. He said like if someone steals your phone here, you can just call out to a policeman nearby, and like the policeman will come and like stop the bad guy, whatever. So they're a very safe country. The other kind of main thing, it was so I forgot how recently this is. Maybe it's within the last week. So there was a volcano that erupted in the northern part of the country near the Congolese border. Or it was a volcano that erupted in Congo. There's a Rwandan city, Rubavu or Gisenyi, which is right next to that border, absorbed like thousands of Congolese refugees fleeing this volcano. First time this volcano has erupted in decades. So, like, I had been planning to possibly go to this town. Like, the plan was either stay in the capital the entire time, or maybe go to this one place. This is the one place I was thinking of going to, and I was going there to see the volcano. I wanted to look into the Congo and see that volcano, which you can see from Gisenyi Rubavu, whichever the town which is right next to it. And then I watched a video of someone taking the bus there, and just watching the video, I started to get motion sick, which is typical of me. Get motion sick very, very easily. So this is probably not a good idea. And then like a couple days later, I see like a headline: volcano erupts in Africa, first time in many years. And I was like, don't tell me this is Nyiragongo. And like I looked and like, yep, like right before here, like right after I thankfully made a decision. Okay, I'm not going to book anything here. Don't want to get motion sick. Then like it's like a real crisis. So what I heard today, which was interesting, which I mentioned on Facebook, was this whole morning. I was in my hotel and I was sitting on the bed, and every so often I would feel like the bed shaking, and it's the kind of shaking where it felt like there was a big garbage truck going by, or like maybe there's like an elevator that was like kind of rumbling through the building or something like that. And so like I learned just recently, nope, that was the volcano, like that was the tectonic stuff going on, that caused the volcano. And apparently in Rubavu, then it's like a serious earthquake. They've been having serious aftershocks, like 5.5 or something like that. Yeah, so that was interesting. It's like, okay, like, I'm glad I wasn't there, but uh, I didn't expect to have any impact on me from this event. So that was interesting. And tomorrow I have the main kind of genocide related tour. Then I'm going to the memorial and going to a couple other sites. On that front, then it's interesting. Like I haven't really been exposed to much since I've been here. It's only been one day, but the couple things that I have heard, that I guess kind of the first inkling that I've had into kind of what the situation is here. I was So one thing that I heard was you're not supposed to ask someone if they're Hutu or if they're Tutsi, just like a rude question. And while I was looking at that, I was seeing what was appropriate, what was what was the custom here, so I could be respectful. Then I saw information about how you're not supposed to ask. In some ways, then you can kind of tell, at least certain people. You can tell the average Tutsi is very tall and lean. The average Hutu is shorter and a little bit stockier, and like you can see that. Like you can see. I mean, it's. I've heard there's kind of a spirit right now in the country since the events of 1994. There's like a spirit of like we're one people now, and we need to get out of these tribal tensions and put that stuff in the past. And it is interesting, like you can see signs of the fact that there's two distinct like ethnic groups living here, and they're living side by side. And these are groups that not only hated each other, but that erupted in the way that they did. And I was talking when I was at the Chabad. I was talking to the Chabad rabbi there, and he was confirming that kind of what the respectful custom is about not inquiring. And he said sometimes he said it's very common for it to eventually come up, like you'll eventually be able to know what someone's background is. They'll be talking about their you'll be asking about their family. Where are you from? Where do you grow up? And they'll say, oh yeah, I grew up here, and my family's still back there. My father lives there, and my mother and my brothers used to live there. It will it's still very recent, and it's the consequences of all this still it's still very extant. So that was the first kind of taste of that side of this country that I've experienced. So tomorrow, I'm gonna be learning more, and I'm gonna be trying to document everything, and I'm not gonna let the documenting get in the way of the experience. Yeah, so I'll either be uploading a lot of footage of that tomorrow, uploading footage of my impressions afterwards. So that will be tomorrow. And I'll include some footage here. I'm gonna put the footage, of waking up in that hotel, and seeing the Kigali, the view of Kigali for the first time. I'll put some footage at the end of this of just walking to Chabad. It was a very, very pleasant walk, just a very peaceful walk. About 30 minutes from here to Chabad. It's very nice. So I'll see you guys next time. Okay, so I'm at Chabad, Rwanda. This is the meal that they made me. It's very short notice, but everyone's been very, very nice. Here's the Chabad house. This is a step up from Chabad Ethiopia. Not that I'm hating on Chabad Ethiopia, but this is a really nice place.